On May 31st, 2024, Rusty Moore was pulled over by an officer with the Little Falls Police Department in Morrison County, Minnesota, in response to a driving complaint from a caller who claimed that a vehicle with Mr. Moore's license plate was, quote-unquote, all over the road. Trooper Megan Bozer, a drug recognition evaluator with the Minnesota State Patrol, responded to the scene after Mr. Moore was pulled over, and the interaction that followed was captured on Trooper Bozer's body camera.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I figured I'd come in this way because I didn't want to be on the road.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm just gonna go talk to my partner up here. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Everything? Okay.
Yeah,
You just hang tight, okay?
Seems,
Can I just see his DL? Yeah, he's very. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see that.
Got a DUI in 21. Coming from Wadena, I would just say.
Coming from Wadena?
Going to his daughter's graduation of the ring.
But yeah, totally up to you.
Yeah, it's fine with me. I get off in a couple hours for an hour and a half.
Yeah, do you just want to hang tight just behind him?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if did you have your proof of insurance?
Yep. Would you like to see it too?
Yes, please. Yeah, so.
Is it okay to open it up?
Absolutely. You don't have any knives, weapons, guns, or anything in there?
No, absolutely not.
Yes, that's just fine. Where are you coming from?
Alexandria. Just got off work on my way to my daughter's graduation.
Alexandria?
Yeah.
High school graduation?
Yep.
And you own the car?
Yep, I sure do.
Okay. What were you doing in Alec?
I work there for Mark Lee.
For what?
Mark Lee Asphalt. I drive a semi-dump truck.
Gotcha.
Just got off work and got my
What were
clean
you
clothes
doing
here.
while driving? Were you on your phone or something while
I got
driving?
hands-free.
Well, you were called in for being all over the road.
Yeah, that don't make no sense to me at all.
Okay, there's no reason that you would have been...
All over the road, or it was never all over the road. Somebody must be Josh, and it must be a prank or something. I don't know.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I haven't been all over the road and had no issues. So.
Okay. Are you taking any prescription medications?
I take Adderall.
When's the last time we took Adderall?
6 o'clock this morning.
How many milligrams is that?
30.
30. Okay. Once a day.
Once a day.
Morning, 6. How about anything else?
No.
Any illegal controlled substance uses
No.
that we use? How about alcohol?
No.
Okay, so I'm a drug recognition evaluator, and there's a couple concerning things.
Okay.
I'm going to run you through a few tests.
Okay.
Your eyes are glossy, watery. With your driving conduct being called in, I'm going to run you through some tests and make sure you're good to go. Okay. Any questions with that?
No.
Trooper Bozer informs Mr. Moore that she's going to perform field sobriety tests, or FSTs, on him, and he agrees. Although she did not phrase her statement as a request, under Minnesota law, field sobriety testing is optional, and drivers who are suspected of DWI are not legally required to perform field sobriety tests. Notably, though, in the 2019 case of Otto versus Commissioner of Public Safety, the Court of Appeals of Minnesota determined that law enforcement officers are under no legal duty to inform drivers that both field sobriety tests and preliminary breath tests are optional. Accordingly, a court would likely determine that Trooper Bozer's quote-unquote request that Mr. Moore participate in sobriety testing was lawful, even though she did not inform him that he had the right to refuse.
If you want to, you can shut your car off.
Hope I'm not late for my daughter's graduation.
What time's that at?
It's 7 o'clock.
Okay. Hopefully not.
I still got to change into some clean clothes.
You don't want to wear that?
No.
Okay, hands up. Do you wear any knives or anything?
No.
Okay. I just quick pat, because sometimes that's totally fine. People forget that they have pocket knives, especially if they do construction. I'm going to have you come back towards my
I
car.
work 15 hours a day, so.
Okay. So what time did you start this morning?
At 6 o'clock.
You started at 6?
Yeah.
I'm going to have you stand in front of my grill here, face your car.
Okay.
Any recent brain injuries?
No.
Concussions?
No.
Tumors?
No.
That you know of? Any lower body injuries that prevent you from walking? Or
No.
I won't have you doing any cartwheels, so you'll be okay.
All right.
Blind in either eye?
No.
Do you wear contacts?
No.
Okay. Just a couple questions I ask. Have you done field sobriety before?
Yeah.
Okay, so I may do stuff very similar, but I also might do it a little different from in the past. I'll explain everything.
Okay.
So you won't be guessing. If you have questions, just ask. Okay? First thing I do is I just take a pulse. Yep, and just relax there. What was I gonna say? Or I was going to say.
Trooper Bozer takes Mr. Moore's pulse and later testified that it was 116 beats per minute, which is higher than the average resting pulse rate of 60 to 90 beats per minute. Now, although an elevated heart rate is a well-documented physiological effect of stimulant drugs, including amphetamines such as Adderall, a high heart rate is not exclusive to stimulant impairment. For instance, the Mayo Clinic notes that exercise or emotional stress can produce what's called sinus tachycardia, a normal, rapid heart rate in otherwise healthy individuals. As stress, fear, and anxiety trigger adrenaline release that elevates the pulse, and being stopped by police is often an anxiety-provoking event, the surge of adrenaline can cause a racing heart and jitteriness that mimic drug effects. Therefore, Mr. Moore's elevated heart rate alone would likely be insufficient evidence to prove that he was impaired.
So, next test, it's a Romberg test. So, feet completely together, toes touching, arms by your side. You're going to tilt your head back and you're going to close your eyes.
Okay.
While you do that, you're going to estimate the passage of 30 seconds.
Okay.
When you believe 30 seconds has passed, you're going to tilt your head down just like you are now and open your eyes and say stop.
Okay.
So I tell you when to start and you're going to tell me when to stop.
Okay. Eyes open, closed?
Eyes closed.
Okay, eyes closed, okay.
Yep. You can begin.
Finished.
How'd you get there?
What do you mean?
How'd you get to 30? Did you count? Did you just guess? Did you I just asked?
Yeah.
Counted in your head?
Counted in my head. Was I close?
You're close.
Okay.
You'd be surprised what the answers I get.
Okay.
So you're a little taller than I am, so I'm going to have you have a seat on this chair.
Okay.
Well, I shouldn't say chair, but it'll be your chair for this.
Trooper Bozer performs a series of field sobriety tests on Mr. Moore, including a horizontal gaze nystagmus test, the walk and turn test, and the one-leg stand test. Mr. Moore cooperated with the tests and completed each one successfully with the exception of the one-leg stand, which Mr. Moore attributed to the shoes he was wearing at the time. After completing the tests, Trooper Bozer continued with her investigation.
Okay, I'm going to take a pulse again. You can have a seat again.
The shoes are squishy, so.
Those are good shoes.
Yeah, they are, but they're kind of.
Mine are pretty solid, man.
Huh?
Mine are pretty solid.
Yeah, these here got such a big pad on them. I feel like I'm standing on a balloon.
Do you want to try it with taking your shoes off?
No, I think I did get enough.
Okay. Just thought I'd ask. Some people want to go barefoot.
I feel pretty confident I'd pass the sobriety test.
Anything alcohol-wise today?
No.
Or in the last 24 hours? Anything in your mouth?
No.
Stick your tongue out. So, I get lied to every day, so we'll just knock that PBT out. How's that sound?
Cool.
Sound good? Did we have a DWI in the past before?
Yes.
What was that one for? Drugs or alcohol?
Drugs.
What was that? Okay. Was that your drug of choice?
No.
Wasn't your drug of choice? How'd we end up using it then?
I ended up drinking some water that had it in it. And
Oh. When's the last time we used meth?
July 7th, 2020.
2020. How often did we use it in the past? Pretty often.
Oh, when I lose my insurance for my Adderall.
Oh, gotcha. Blow, 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 blow. There you go.
Yeah.
Zeros. You were telling the truth. When you lose your insurance for Adderall.
Yeah, I lost my insurance.
How long ago?
Oh, this was years ago. I'm going on.
Are you on probation or anything?
No.
When's the last time we used meth?
July 7th, 2020.
Cocaine?
No, I haven't used that since I was in high school.
How do we take our Adderall?
Orally. I have my prescription with me if you'd like to see it.
Do you have it? Yes,
I
I'd
do.
like to see it.
I grab my backpack, is that okay?
That's absolutely fine. Yep. Just, I'm going to ask you again. No drugs or
Absolutely
anything in there?
I get drug tests. I got Class A. I drive commercial vehicles, so.
Okay. So you take this how often?
Once a day.
Once a day. So how come we have a tab and a half?
Probably because on the weekend maybe I felt like taking a half tab instead of a whole one.
Did we just take a half tab today? Tonight?
Not tonight. No, I haven't had one since this morning.
Okay. Do you have your septum? Look up
Oh,
once.
yeah.
Have you ever looked in somebody's nose after they snort
No,
stuff?
I haven't snorted anything in 4 years.
Okay.
Just about. So
Just
3 and
smoked
a
it
half.
then?
No, I haven't smoked in 3.5 since July 7th of 2020.
Okay.
So
you're showing a lot of signs of stimulant use beyond a prescribed dosage. So I don't know, if you took it at 6 a.m., right?
yeah.
And took 30 milligrams,
Yeah.
you're way too stimmed out right now for that.
Right.
So when's the last time we actually took an Adderall pill?
6 o'clock this morning.
Okay, so what else would we have that's making you stim?
Nothing. I don't have no caffeine, no pop. I drink bottles of water. Last time I had encounters with the cops, they were at the wrong room. They tased me six cops tased me 12 times in 6 minutes.
You don't fight with cops, do you?
Nope.
Just that once?
I didn't fight with them that time either.
Well, if you got tased 12 times, that wasn't very cooperative.
No, I was face down and got tased 12 times and put in a coma. So,
How long ago was that?
A few years ago.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
it wasn't...
so I get nervous around cops a little bit, you know.
And I can
from
get that, but
no,
have
I was
ever-
the wrong person, wrong room, wrong everything.
But I've never given you a reason to be nervous, right?
Well, you already know. You're telling me I'm overstimulated, and I just passed your
Yeah.
sobriety test, and
You're making... Just now you're getting agitated, which makes me a little nervous.
Am I getting arrested for DWI? Or are we going in, or what
Are you
we
going to
doing
be cooperative?
here? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you are under arrest.
So I'm missing my daughter's graduation.
Okay, we'll try to make this fast, okay?
What do we do? Go take a drug test?
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank God! I didn't make it by 7. Oh, I can pass the drug test.
Okay, but the thing is,
Yes.
do you have somebody that can come get you? Because if I'm arresting you for a DWI...
Oh, I'll pass your drug test.
No, sir. So what's going to happen, and I'll explain it to you, is we have to go in for a BCA drug test, which I don't get the results for today.
So I'll be in jail overnight?
Can you just listen for 1
Yes.
second? Are you going to be cooperative the entire time?
Yes. Can I grab my wallet? Can you give me my
I'll
wallet, please?
grab all your wallet and stuff.
I can't call my daughter and tell her I'm not going to make her graduation. Oh my God.
Try to relax here, okay?
Why do you think I'm
put the
overstimulated?
points.
I don't understand.
So I'm a drug recognition evaluator.
Right.
And you're showing signs, numerous signs of...
Like what?
Like,
I've showed you my prescription.
you wanted that with you, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. Come on back with me.
I'd like to call my mom or somebody.
Well, I'll grab your phone. I will.
Oh.
Okay, come on back.
Am I going to be in jail overnight?
We'll see. Typically, yes, you would be, but we're gonna
I
see how
have no drugs.
cooperative you
I'm
are.
going to pass every drug test you got. I have 0 drugs in me.
Okay, go ahead.
No pot,
Have a seat.
no coke, no meth, no nothing. Just Adderall.
Okay, have a seat. She's valedictorian?
70 hours a week. I can't believe this. I've been drug free and going. Hey, wait.
What's wrong?
I attend set free. I go to church.
Okay, hold on, okay? I didn't have the driving, so what did you see in driving conduct?
Yeah, well, he's got a cracked windshield, and then he has a inoperable passenger side brake light.
Okay.
And then, yeah, he was kind of jerky. He didn't cross over any lines when I was behind him.
Yep.
He, like jerky.
Yep. Yep.
Just
Yeah,
makes
so
sense.
the caller had them all over.
You want to help surgeon?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so his Adderall, he's not taking as prescribed. He's got a pill and a half.
What was his pulse?
First one was 118, second one was 124 or 6. I wrote it down.
And Romberg,
35.
Ah.
He was fidgeting that whole time. Yeah, he was like this the whole time on his leg.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Adderall or meth?
Meth. Or Adderall that he just took way too much of. And I'm just going to document on body camera that he is not taking as prescribed. It says take 1 tablet per mouth per day. Over the 30 days, he got a pill and a half. What's that?
You go to my daughter's graduation. I promise you there's been no drugs.
So even if you can still get a DWI off of a prescription medication. Okay, you're showing signs of impairment caused by the prescriptions. Even if it's not a prescription, it's a stimulant of some kind. What I am going to do for you, because you're late, you're not going to make it in time. Do you want to call somebody to let them know? I can't let you know. We have to do this process.
Please.
I'll try to get you going as soon as we can. I can't. My hands are tied.
Graduation, please.
I know.
Please.
So I'm just
No
gonna.
drugs.
We're gonna get going, and we're gonna get
I
to.
swear to God, I've done no drugs, please.
So I can't. We're under arrest for DWI. But do you want to call somebody quick to let them know you won't make it in time? Do you want to do that, or do you want to wait?
Yes, call someone.
Okay.
Again.
What's your pin?
I gotta get my bed.
Do you want to? Your hands are? Can you go off to the
Am I
side?
gonna be in jail overnight, all weekend, or what? I gotta work tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.
When's our last? Okay. I'm gonna ask you a question, but first I'm gonna read you something, right? You're under arrest. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have a right to an attorney and have an attorney present during questioning. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you with little to no cost. Do you understand those rights?
Yes.
So now I'm going to ask you questions. I'm going to explain everything, so at least then if you answer a question, I read you that. When was your last DWI? Was it within 10 years?
2019.
19, it is 24 now. Okay, so we're within 10, so it would be a third-degree DWI. You're still not required to see a judge. Okay? So I'm not going to make you sit all night. But can somebody come get you at 7 in the morning to get you to work? Well, you can't drive because I'm arresting you for being impaired while driving.
I promise you, I'm not impaired.
We're impaired by prescription medications.
I'm not impaired. I drove a semi all day.
Trooper Bozer tells Mr. Moore that he is under arrest for driving while impaired by a prescription medication. Adderall is classified as a Schedule II controlled substance. Under Section 169A.20 of the Minnesota statutes, it is illegal for an individual to drive a vehicle with any measurable amount of a Schedule II controlled substance present in their body, regardless of actual impairment. This creates a so-called per se violation, where even prescription medications such as Adderall can lead to criminal charges. However, Section 169A.46 of the Minnesota statutes creates an affirmative defense, which allows drivers to avoid a DWI conviction if they can prove by the preponderance of the evidence that they used the controlled substance according to the terms of a valid prescription. An issue with this defense in Mr. Moore's situation is the presence of the half tablet in his prescription bottle when the terms of his prescription were to take 1 pill per day. Although Mr. Moore explained to Trooper Bozer that he sometimes only takes a half tablet on the weekend when he does not have to work, Trooper Bozer later testified that she did not believe this explanation, and that instead she suspected that Mr. Moore had crushed and snorted Adderall after work. It should also be noted that the prescription defense only applies to a so-called per se DWI charge based on the mere presence of a Schedule I or Schedule II drug in a driver's system. It does not apply to a charge of being, quote-unquote, under the influence of a controlled substance, which is also prohibited by Section 169A.20 of the Minnesota statutes. In other words, having a prescription is not a defense if the prosecution can prove that the driver was actually impaired by the drug, as the law expects prescription users to refrain from driving if the medication affects their ability to drive safely. Therefore, Mr. Moore could potentially be found guilty of DWI if he was found to have taken his Adderall outside the terms of his prescription, or if the court concluded that he was actually impaired by the Adderall.
Okay, but I'm just telling you what you're under arrest for, and what I see are the signs of impairment. I
ran out of my Ozempic yesterday. My blood sugar's probably high.
Okay, so even that's not going to cause what I'm seeing. And we can have the hospital check your blood as well. But
you're not going to find nothing in my system other than my Adderall, and you're not going to find a high level of it. You're going to find it within normal range.
Okay, then that's what we're going to find.
Well, I still get a DWI out of that?
You're under arrest for DWI.
I'm going to lose my CDL for this or what?
This is one...
It's my job.
I know. So the blood doesn't come back for like 2-3 months. So everything stays as is for 3 months. Then you can take it to court, you can fight it in court, you can do whatever, but that's the process that goes.
How long will it take for you to release me? I can't drive my car out of here.
Absolutely not. I just arrested you for a DWI.
I'm not going to make a graduation.
No, we're not making a graduation tonight. And we try to make this as fast and smooth as possible.
So heartbroken.
I know. So move your knee in, okay?
Drugs, I've done nothing wrong.
So you didn't want to give me, or didn't want to do the passcode for his phone, which also tells me. Yeah, I'm going to see who they have for a tow. Okay.
This one hand is going numb, ma'am.
Which foot? Which hand?
My right hand.
Okay, let me take a peek at it, okay? Okay, so I'm going to lock it so it doesn't get any tighter than that, okay? How's the spacing on that?
I promise you I've done no drugs.
Have a seat in there, okay? Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a bottle of water in my backpack. Can I get that by chance?
Yeah, I'll grab it. But we can't have it until after we do the blood.
Okay.
Just because, like we said, we've already drank meth before, so I'm going to make sure there's...
Is there any way we can hurry that up? Because maybe I can hitchhike and make it there in time.
We'll try to figure something out. Just hang tight. So he's got mood swings. He'll start crying, stop crying.
Can you grab my clothes for the graduation?
License status valid.
I don't think we're going to be there in time. Okay, I'll go look. He wants his graduation clothes just in case. Okay. He'll be just tell him the stuff's on the dash. And then if you want to, you can come to the hospital. Call pending, doesn't matter.
What's going to happen? What's it look like from here?
So now we go in, I type a search warrant, they'll take blood, and typically you'd go to jail for the night.
Okay.
But we'll see.
After his arrest, Trooper Bozer obtained a search warrant, and Mr. Moore agreed to a blood draw. The sample was tested by the Minnesota Department of Safety Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, which found the presence of amphetamines in the amount of 0.034 milligrams per liter. According to an expert retained by Mr. Moore in his defense, this amount is within the so-called therapeutic range of Adderall usage, and was consistent with his prescribed dosage of 30 milligrams daily taken at 6 a.m. Mr. Moore was charged with 2 counts of DWI, 1 count for driving under the influence of a controlled substance, and 1 count for driving while his body contained any amount of a controlled substance. As a result of his arrest, Mr. Moore lost his job and his commercial driver's license was revoked. He retained legal counsel, who filed a petition for judicial review of his license revocation. On October 31st, 2024, the court denied the petition, and Mr. Moore appealed the decision to the Minnesota Court of Appeals. Oral arguments were held on June 3rd, 2025, and as of the date of writing this episode, both the Court of Appeals decision and the criminal charges against Mr. Moore are still pending. Mr. Moore is seeking a civil rights attorney and has started a GoFundMe campaign to assist with the costs of legal representation. I've included a link to this campaign in the description below. Overall, Trooper Bozer gets an F for demonstrating inexcusably poor discretionary decision-making by choosing to arrest Mr. Moore, preying on Mr. Moore's lack of legal knowledge and the pressing circumstances at hand, and for maintaining a completely unwarranted accusatory tone throughout the interaction. The legitimacy of Trooper Bozer's arrest is certainly in question, but her complete lack of empathy for Mr. Moore's situation is the most troubling aspect of this encounter. Mr. Moore took a medication that was prescribed to him by a doctor, and ultimately ended up being arrested, missing his daughter's graduation, losing his job, and being forced to deal with the legal aftermath of his arrest. Trooper Bozer didn't take any of that into consideration before effecting her arrest, and she relied heavily on Mr. Moore's past as an excuse for her conduct. Members of law enforcement have the discretionary authority to arrest, meaning they can choose whether or not to make an arrest based on the facts associated with each individual encounter. Here, it is clear based on the video, and later proven by the blood test, that Trooper Bozer could have exercised her discretion not to arrest Mr. Moore, as he was obviously not dangerously impaired. Despite a national decline in DUI arrests over the past decade, false arrests remain a serious and underreported issue. In Tennessee, investigative reports revealed that more than 600 individuals arrested for DUI between 2017 and 2023 later tested negative for both drugs and alcohol, which led to legislative calls for reform within the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Similarly, in Honolulu, a class action lawsuit filed by the ACLU exposed that at least 127 drivers were arrested between 2022 and 2024 despite recording 0.000 BAC levels, with most never formally charged. These cases suggest a troubling trend of preemptive arrests made without sufficient probable cause, and raises concerns about systemic failures and possible quota-driven enforcement practices. This interaction highlights exactly how these cases happen and the real-world devastation they can create. As for Mr. Moore, I cannot rightfully assign a grade to an individual who did everything within their ability to avoid being arrested, but was nonetheless a victim of systemic failure, poor training, and a complete lack of compassion. Although it would likely have been within his best interest to refuse taking the field sobriety tests, Mr. Moore was doing whatever he could to expedite the encounter so that he could attend his daughter's graduation. It is not always practical to take the most prudent legal steps available during a police interaction, especially when they are unexpected, like most traffic stops are. Mr. Moore's primary mission at the time was to attend his daughter's graduation, not ensure that his constitutional rights weren't violated. Mr. Moore was as compliant as he could possibly be, but that didn't save him from being arrested, missing a once-in-a-lifetime event, and then having to deal with the subsequent legal fallout that is still ongoing to this day. If Mr. Moore had refused to take the field sobriety tests, well, then he would likely have still missed his daughter's graduation, but at least he wouldn't have provided the state with evidence that they could use against him later. While I completely understand why Mr. Moore chose to participate in the field sobriety tests, this interaction demonstrates how blind compliance and uninformed consent can carry serious legal consequences. I wish Mr. Moore the absolute best in his case, and I will leave a link to his GoFundMe campaign in the description below if you're interested in helping him find representation. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic that you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out my second channel for even more police interaction content.